Okay, listen up, because this is my life, raw and unfiltered, New York City style. Imagine this. Grand Central Station, the ultimate arrival point, a symbol of new beginnings. That was me, Daniel, stepping off the train. Penn Station, actually, but close enough. Fresh off the bus from Ohio, cornfields and all, eyes wide, heart even wider, chasing after a woman, a New York woman, Isabel. Yeah, I know, sounds like a movie, right? Well, movies end, and real life punches you in the gut when you least expect it. Isabel was fire. Pure, unadulterated, Manhattan fire. I met her during a summer internship in Cincinnati, of all places. She was there visiting her aunt, escaping the city heat, she said. We clicked instantly, like magnets, or maybe like two halves of a broken heart finally finding each other. She was everything Ohio wasn't. Sophisticated, sharp-witted, a little bit cynical. But underneath it all, I saw something real, something vulnerable. She talked about New York, about her life in Brooklyn, about the art scene, the music, the energy, and I was mesmerized. I was a small-town guy, comfortable in my routine, but she opened up a whole new world to me. A world that glittered and pulsed with life, and she made me feel like I could be a part of it. So, yeah, I did the crazy thing. Finished my internship, packed my beat-up Honda Civic with everything I owned, which wasn't much, and drove straight to New York. No job, no apartment, just a phone number and a whole lot of hope. Isabel met me at the Port Authority bus terminal, that chaotic, overwhelming gateway to the city, and suddenly, even the grime and the noise felt exciting. She hugged me tight, that Isabel hug that made my knees weak, and said, "Welcome to New York, Daniel. You're home now." Home. That's what it felt like instantly. We started from zero. Less than zero, actually. I crashed on Isabel's couch in her tiny studio apartment in Park Slope, a space barely big enough for one person, let alone two plus a mountain of unpacked boxes. I pounded the pavement, day after day, handing out resumes, answering online ads, anything to get my foot in the door. Rejection after rejection. Dead end after dead end. New York doesn't exactly hand out opportunities on a silver platter, especially not to some kid from Ohio with no connections and a nervous smile. But I'm stubborn, always have been. And I had Isabel, her belief in me, her unwavering support, even when I was ready to pack it all in and drive back to the familiar comfort of Ohio. She'd look me in the eye, that intense blue gaze, and say, "Don't you dare give up, Daniel. You're stronger than you think. You're meant to be here." And somehow, her words, her faith, kept me going. Finally, a break. A small marketing agency in Midtown, desperate for someone, anyone, to answer phones and run errands. Entry-level, bottom of the barrel, but it was a start. I grabbed it with both hands, worked my ass off, stayed late, learned everything I could, soaked it all in like a sponge. Slowly, things started to turn around. Raises, promotions, a slightly bigger apartment in a slightly less cramped neighborhood. Life was still hard, still a grind. But we were building something, Isabel and me, together. Then came the wedding, a rooftop affair in Soho, overlooking the city skyline, just like in the movies. My family flew in from Ohio, bewildered but happy. Isabel's sophisticated New York friends mingled with my down-to-earth Midwestern crew, and somehow it all worked. It felt magical, perfect, like we had conquered the city, conquered everything. We were invincible, or so I thought. 2 years later, our daughter Chloe arrived, a tiny, screaming miracle that turned our world upside down in the best possible way. Then, 3 years after that, little Maya joined the chaos, another explosion of love and sleepless nights and baby giggles. Life was intense, overwhelming, beautiful, chaotic, but it was ours. It was real. It was everything I ever wanted, or so I desperately wanted to believe. Isabel. She was a force of nature, always had been. While I was climbing the corporate ladder at the agency, she was building her own empire. Started freelancing as a graphic designer, then launched her own design studio, which took off like a rocket. She was brilliant, driven, with this relentless energy that was both inspiring and intimidating. She worked insane hours, traveled constantly, always chasing the next big client, the next big deal. And she was incredibly successful. The kind of success that turns heads, the kind of success that changes lives. We moved to a brownstone in Cobble Hill, a picture-perfect Brooklyn neighborhood with tree-lined streets and charming cafes. Private school for the girls, weekend getaways to the Hamptons, summers in Europe. We had it all. The American dream, New York City edition. Except, somewhere along the way, the dream started to feel hollow. The cracks started small, almost imperceptible at first. Isabel's late nights at the office became later. Her business trips became longer. Her phone became an extension of her hand, always buzzing, always demanding her attention. We used to talk for hours, about everything, about nothing, about our dreams, our fears, our hopes for the future. Now, conversations were reduced to logistical updates, hurried exchanges about schedules and childcare and household bills. The intimacy, the connection, the spark that had drawn us together, it was fading slowly but surely, like a dying ember. I tried to talk to her, to reach out, to bridge the growing gap between us. I suggested date nights, couples counseling, anything to reconnect, to rekindle what we had lost. She'd brush it off, dismissively, saying she was just stressed, overworked, that things would get better once this project was over, once this deal closed. Once. There was always a once, a future promise that never quite materialized. Then, last month, the floor dropped out from under me. We were getting ready for bed. The kind of quiet, mundane evening that had become our new normal. The girls were asleep, the house was still, and for a fleeting moment, I thought, maybe, just maybe, we could have a real conversation, a moment of connection, a glimpse of the Isabel I used to know. I reached out to take her hand, and she flinched, pulled away as if my touch burned her. That's when I knew. Something was terribly, irrevocably wrong. "Isabel," I said, my voice low, my heart pounding in my chest. "What's going on? You've been distant, different. What's wrong?" She sighed, a long, weary sigh that seemed to carry the weight of the world. She turned away from me, stared out the window at the city lights, her silhouette stark against the darkness. "Daniel," she said, her voice flat, emotionless. "I don't think I can do this anymore." "Do what?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper, fear gripping me like a vice. "Do what anymore, Isabel?" "This," she said, waving her hand vaguely, encompassing our life, our marriage, our family, everything we had built together. Us. I don't think I can be married anymore. Married. The word hung in the air between us, cold, sharp, like a shard of ice. Married. After 7 years, after 2 kids, after everything we had shared, everything we had overcome, she was just done. "Divorce?" I choked out, the word catching in my throat. "Are you saying you want a divorce?" She turned back to me then, her face pale, her eyes hollow, devoid of any warmth, any love, any trace of the woman I had fallen in love with. "Yes, Daniel," she said, her voice cold, clinical. "That's exactly what I'm saying. I want a divorce." Divorce. The word echoed in my head, a deafening roar that drowned out everything else. Divorce. It was like a death sentence, the death of our marriage, the death of our family, the death of the life I thought we had. "But why?" I pleaded, my voice cracking, tears welling up in my eyes, tears of confusion, of hurt, of disbelief. "Why, Isabel? What happened? We can fix this, can't we? We can work through this. Tell me what's wrong, please. Just tell me." She shook her head, slowly, sadly, but there was no sadness in her eyes, only a cold, hard resolve. "It's not something we can fix, Daniel," she said, her voice flat, final. "It's not something I want to fix. I'm not happy. I haven't been happy for a long time, and I deserve to be happy." "And what about me?" I cried out, the pain finally breaking through the shock, the anger starting to simmer beneath the surface. "What about the girls? Don't we deserve to be happy too? Don't we deserve a chance?" She didn't answer. She just looked at me, her expression unreadable, like she was looking at a stranger, a distant acquaintance, someone she no longer recognized, no longer cared about. "I've made my decision, Daniel," she said, her voice leaving no room for argument, no room for negotiation. "I've already spoken to a lawyer. You should do the same." And that was it. The end of our story. The final chapter, slammed shut, without warning, without explanation, without even a goodbye kiss. She turned away, climbed into bed, and closed her eyes, leaving me standing there, alone in the darkness, the word divorce ringing in my ears like a death knell. The days since have been a living hell, a blur of lawyers, paperwork, financial statements, custody agreements, all the ugly, brutal machinery of divorce grinding into motion. Isabel has become a stranger, cold, distant, almost hostile. She's focused, driven, determined to get what she wants, to dismantle our lives with ruthless efficiency. And what she wants, it seems, is everything. She wants to keep the brownstone, of course. It's her house, she says, her investment. She wants to keep the savings, the investments, the assets we accumulated over the years, arguing that it's mostly her money because she was the primary breadwinner. She's even trying to minimize child support, claiming my current freelance income is sufficient to cover my share of the expenses. It's a bloodbath, a financial and emotional massacre, and I'm caught in the crossfire, defenseless, overwhelmed, drowning in a sea of legalese and betrayal. See, here's the cruel irony of it all. For the past 5 years, I've been working from home, freelancing as a writer and editor, flexible hours, decent pay, enough to contribute to the household income, but nothing compared to Isabel's corporate salary. It was a conscious decision, a mutual decision, we thought. With Isabel's demanding career and constant travel, someone needed to be home for the girls, to be present, to be the stable anchor in their lives. I volunteered. I wanted to be there for Chloe and Maya, to be more than just a weekend dad, to be actively involved in their upbringing. Isabel praised me for it, thanked me for it, said it was the best decision we ever made. Now she's using it against me, turning my sacrifice into a weakness, my commitment to our family into a financial liability. I feel like such a fool, such a naive, trusting idiot. I believed in her, in us, in our marriage. I thought we were a team, partners, equals. Turns out, I was just a supporting player in her grand scheme, a convenient accessory to her success, someone to take care of the kids and the house while she conquered the world. And now that she's decided she no longer needs me, she's discarding me like yesterday's trash, leaving me with nothing but heartache and debt. I have to move out, of course. The brownstone is going on the market, and even if it wasn't, I couldn't afford to live there on my own. I'm scrambling to find an apartment, a tiny, affordable place in some less than desirable neighborhood, a far cry from the Brooklyn brownstone I called home for years. I have to ramp up my freelance work, hustle harder, find new clients, new projects just to make ends meet. I'm starting over from scratch at 40 years old, divorced, broke, and heartbroken, and the girls, my sweet, innocent Chloe and Maya. They're caught in the middle of this mess, confused, scared, their little worlds crumbling around them. Isabel will get primary custody, no doubt. She has the money, the resources, the power to bulldoze her way through the legal system. I'll be relegated to weekend visits, snatched moments of time with my daughters, watching them grow up from a distance, a visitor in their lives, a stranger in their home. It breaks my heart, shatters it into a million pieces every time I think about it. I need help. Desperately. Legal help, financial advice, emotional support, anything. I feel lost, adrift, drowning in a sea of despair. I need a lawyer, a shark, someone who can fight for me, someone who can protect my rights, someone who can make sure Isabel doesn't completely destroy me. I need to understand the divorce laws in New York, what I'm entitled to, how to navigate this legal minefield, and I need to find a way to rebuild my life, to create a stable future for myself and for my daughters, so I can be there for them, even if it's not in the way I always imagined. This city, this glittering, heartless city, it promised me everything, and now it's threatening to take it all away. I came here for love, and all I've found is betrayal and heartbreak. But I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to let Isabel win. I'm not going to let her define my future. I came here with nothing once, and I'll do it again if I have to. I'll fight for my daughters, for my dignity, for a chance to salvage something from the wreckage of my marriage. This isn't the end of my story. It's just the beginning of a new, much harder chapter. It hurts. Yeah, it hurts like hell. The pain is a constant companion, a dull ache in my chest, a knot of anxiety in my stomach. But beneath the pain, there's something else, something stronger, something resilient. It's the stubborn refusal to be broken, the unwavering determination to survive, to fight, to rebuild. Isabel may have underestimated me. She may think she's won, that she can walk away with everything, leaving me in ruins. But she's wrong. Dead wrong. I'm not going down without a fight. I'm gonna pick myself up, dust myself off, and come back stronger than ever. For my daughters, for myself, for my future. This city may be heartless, but it's also full of possibilities, full of second chances, full of unexpected turns. And I'm going to find my second chance, somewhere in the chaos and the grit and the glitter of New York City, because that's what you do here. You fight, you survive, and sometimes, against all odds, you even find a way to thrive. This Ohio boy might be down, but he's definitely not out. Not by a long shot.